Linzess could help you get ahead of it.
Linzess linaclotide is a prescription medicine that treats IBS-C in adults. It's not a laxative. It's a once-daily pill that helps you get ahead of your symptoms. It's proven to help you have more frequent and complete bowel movements and helps relieve overall abdominal symptoms, belly pain, discomfort, and bloating. These symptoms were studied in combination, not individually. Do not give Linzess to children less than 2. It may harm them. Do not take Linzess if you have a bowel blockage. Get immediate help if you develop unusual or severe stomach pain, especially with bloody or black stools. The most common side effect is diarrhea, sometimes severe. If it's severe, stop taking Linzess and call your doctor right away. Other side effects include gas, stomach area pain, and swelling. Talk to your doctor and say yes to Linzess. Learn more at linzess.com or call 1-800-LINZESS.
Good afternoon. It's gotten a little bit heavier with that traffic volume on 65 northbound there at Rivergate Parkway. It's already slow to go 40 east over here. Fasters on that traffic building onto the Hermitage Donaldson area, continuing out into Wilson County. As 24 gets a little bit heavier eastbound, just in the last few minutes at Bell Road, continuing towards Murfreesboro. When you need dependable towing for your car, big truck, call STR Towing and Recovery right here in Middle Tennessee. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
This is Pastor Nikki Ajapong, lead pastor of Holy Hill Chapel in Murfreesboro.
Hear our sermons on WGNS every Sunday night at 7:30.
Extending the love of God.
Reviving the community at holyhillchapeltn.org.
Rutherford weather.
Clear skies tonight, low temperature of 21 and west winds at 10 to 20. On Tuesday, lots of sunshine with a high of 50 degrees. From the WGNS Rutherford Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Ray Miller. Right now, it's 33.
Now you can watch some of your favorite radio shows. Try Big G TV. Subscribe for free on YouTube at News Radio WGNS and WGNS Radio on Facebook and X. Local content that matters to Rutherford County.
From the first pitch to the final buzzer, this is where the conversation starts. All sports talk on WGNS and Big G TV, covering the Preps, MTSU, news from Tennessee and nationwide. Now, here's All Sports Talk on the Good Neighbor Network.
And we welcome you into All Sports Talk for a Monday afternoon. This is Dick Palmer. You're going to have to put up with me for a few weeks on Mondays, but I'm glad to be able to step in and do this and hope to have some very interesting guests for you over the next few weeks. And we certainly do today. We'll be talking about something that's very appropriate because we've got something coming up tonight you want to know about. First of all, today is November the 10th. And it is the 250th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. So to all you guys out there, Semper Fi and happy birthday. How about that? Eddie Taylor is my guest. Eddie's making, by popular demand, a repeat performance on All Sports Talk. I understand you were on with Monty just a few days ago, talking about some of the same things we're going to talk about today. But for me, you can never get too much baseball in any length of time. So, Eddie, welcome in.
Thank you, Dick. I'm glad to be here.
You are a longtime Murfreesboro resident, as am I.
That's correct.
So we both go back a few years. Probably we'll be talking about some things our listeners have no idea about. But that's why we do these things.
That's exactly right.
And so anyway, were you ready for the cold snap that came in?
Well, you kind of watch the weather and you kind of think, well, they're going to tell us it's going to be cold and then it's not going to be as cold, or you know how the weather people are. But it was a little bit of a shock this morning. When I first heard the mention of occasional snow flurries, kind of got my attention, but I haven't seen anything yet. Perhaps somewhere around the mid-state we have had a little bit of that. But for those of you who don't like cold weather, it's going to warm up, going to be back into the 70s by the end of the week, I understand. Welcome to Tennessee weather. That's right. We'll let Brian take care of the rest of the weather. We're here to talk about the Rutherford County Baseball Association, and its annual banquet is tonight, and we're going to find out when and where and all this and who can attend. But Eddie, you've been kind of heading this up for the last few years, and you've made a few changes. You and the people who are involved in it have made a few changes,
and I think for the better.
Well, I appreciate that, Dick. Years ago, LDAG and Truman Jones and some of the old board members at that time, they had asked me if I would be interested in serving on the board. That was about 15 years ago, or maybe even longer than that now. And so I accepted, and their vision was moving forward. They needed to figure out how to get more of the younger people involved. And I don't know if I guess I took that as a compliment thinking I was one of the younger people, but that was what we was looking at moving forward. And a few years ago, they elected me to be the chairman of the board in 2019. And so we revamped our board. We had a lot of our board members that retired just simply because it was getting to be a lot on them. So we had a complete changeover of the board. Our organization used to be known as the Old Timers Baseball Association, and it was basically just a barbecue plate and a few Hall of Fame inductions, and we went home and had one speaker. But we have moved forward and kind of changed our name. We've now known as the Rutherford County Baseball Organization. We are now a 501c3 organization, tax exempt and all that stuff. And we have sponsors that help us out with our banquet and stuff now. But we changed the format of it. This is our 52nd year of inductions for the Hall of Fame. Wow. The organization, I know we're going to get into this a little bit later on, but the organization has been around for 54 years. So we now not only do Hall of Fame inductions, but we honor our middle school and high school coaches of the year. We also honor and recognize our any All-State or Mr. Baseball players that from our high schools in the area. And then one of the most prestigious awards you might be a little familiar with, we started doing this. This will be the third year for this, and it is our Mr. Baseball Award. And the first recipient was Mr. Jack Jolly, and I'm sure everybody knows. And we renamed it after we presented him that award. We renamed it to the Jack Jolly Mr. Baseball Award. And I know you're familiar with this because you was the recipient of that last year.
Very much so.
And very deserving, I might say. And this coming year, you're going to be presenting this year's Mr. Jack Jolly Baseball Award, and that's going to Mr. Coon Victory. And so we're really looking forward to that tonight. And we're expecting a big crowd. We've had a lot of pre-bought tickets. We still have a few seats remaining. It is you can go online and still purchase your ticket. I know we're going to be close on time, or you can just show up at the door. We don't anticipate running out of seats at the last minute, but you still can. You can still come if you want to, and it's at 315 John R. Rice Boulevard. That's the Agricultural Center. And we're in the building back in the back where most people are familiar, where we have the farmers market on Tuesdays and Fridays. But the doors open at 5. Hospitality or the social hour till 5:45. We start our program then, and dinner we try to eat at 6.
So last year you catered the food in, and it was an excellent meal last year. You got to have the same people doing that?
Yes, Bob Burford with B&B Creations. This will be the 4th year that we've partnered with him. He cooks the food there on site. And it's hot, and we change the menu around each year. This year we're having meatloaf and some herb seasoned chicken with rice, green beans, macaroni and cheese, and 2 of his personal favorites of desserts. And I'll mess it up if I try to name them, but they will be good.
Well, actually, we're just a few minutes away from starting. As you hear this, we recorded this early in the morning because obviously both of us have a part in the program. You've got the biggest part, but this is just happening, and if somebody wanted to come in at the last minute, it's possible to do that.
Absolutely.
The charge is what I forgot.
The adults are $30, and 18 and under is $20.
Okay, so you get a nice meal, which is probably going to be cheaper than you could get from a local restaurant now, prices being what they are, but you're also going to get a lot of baseball talk.
Yeah, that is correct.
Excellent program. Got a good guest speaker we'll talk about a little bit later. So even if you haven't decided what you're doing for your evening tonight, you still have time to come out.
Absolutely. It's it used to be for years it was just you just showed up. There wasn't to where you had to purchase your tickets early or all. But because of our growth, we've gone from having 50, 60, 70 people was a great crowd at the time to now we have 200 plus. So, because of limited seating, we have to do it the way we do now, and it's worked really well.
All right, you were explaining to me earlier some of the background of how the organization started, when it started, and this sort of thing. And my earliest recollection, because I did not move back to Murfreesboro until 77, late 77. I was here from 78 on, but I still remember going out to the old Sportsman's Club on the what we call that before Medical Center came in.
That would have been Manson Pike.
Yeah, okay.
Is that correct?
Right there by the river, and having a nice meal, a lot of camaraderie with people, and just talking baseball. But is that where it actually originated?
That's where we believe the first one was held at, and it was held there for a lot of years until we actually outgrew that. So we actually had moved that from that location. We moved over to the JC building over in Canonsburg.
Right.
And it didn't take us long to outgrow that. We spent a time or two over at the Grove out there, and that was probably a little bit too big of a venue for us at the time. But we were there for a couple of years, and then we have now settled in at our location that we're at now, and it's been a perfect venue for us. Plenty of parking. You don't have to worry about a lot of traffic coming in and out of there. Lighting is good, seating is good. Climate is good. It's just a great location.
For people coming in for the first time, you can find it on your GPS, but you go all the way to the back. It's not the first building, which I made that mistake the first time I came. Go all the way to the back.
That is correct, and we also have signs. We have signs that we'll put out that at the two entrances to the Ag Center, you'll see Rutherford County Baseball Organization Hall of Fame. And then as you drive through, we have yellow signs with black arrows on them pointing you in the direction to take you all the way back to the back. So, yes, it is a little confusing the first time you go because the front building does have event halls as well, but the back has a little bit larger area.
I was just wondering how this actually got started and whether it's probably, I'm thinking maybe it was 2 or 3 people just sitting around talking baseball in the winter, and somebody said, hey, why don't we, have a little gathering?
You're 100% correct. That's exactly right.
And who was it?
That's part of the problem that we're having right now, because I got that exact same story from LDAG. He was explaining to me one time about how this all started. And, we don't, back then, these guys, they were just old baseball buddies, and it started out exactly like that. Just, hey, why don't we just get some of our old buddies together and have a quote-unquote reunion?
Yeah.
And so that's what they did. They just met. It was maybe 5, 10, 15 of them at the very most. And after that first year, they thought, we need to invite more people to this. And then after 2 years is when they decided, why don't we make this into a Hall of Fame? We'll just invite our buddies and we'll put them into the Hall of Fame, and that's how it actually all started. And but you and I was talking earlier in the week. The only records that we have are actually spiral notebooks that when you came into the banquet, everybody signed in on these spiral notebooks.
Right.
And being a board member, and I understand this, looking at these names in these books, the first 5, 6, 7 years, it appears to be the same names that are showing up on the sign-in books.
Read me a few of those names.
I will. Let me get my glasses real quick. But yeah, some of the names that are showing up are Ken Ezel, Sam Lassiter, Jack Baxter, Homer Jones.
Homer Jones is a great umpire.
Yes. Herman Jones, Kenneth Ellis, Shorty Campbell. Some names I remember my dad talking about, Howard Pinuel, just some people, James Lefty Fight,
great pitcher.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I just heard all these stories and stuff. So what we are assuming is that these first 5, 6, 7 names of the first 12 or so on this list were probably the board members. And so I don't know how to get information out other than this is a good way of doing it here on the radio. But people that when you were younger or when you remember if you ever went to this Hall of Fame back in the early 70s and stuff, if you can remember information, reach out to us because we need to gather all the information we can because we would love to form a history. We have on our website, we have put on a history and of what we have put together. So, if you reach out to us.
Okay, good. We're talking with Eddie Taylor from the Rutherford County Baseball Association, and you're listening to All Sports Talk. We'll take a break, and we'll be back with more right after this.
In Rutherford County, you know how much it means to have neighbors you can count on. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel, here to help life go right when you combine home and auto insurance. Call me today at 615-890-0850 and let me save you money and time. Your home, your auto, together they're where life happens. I'm State Farm Agent Andy Wommel. It's smart to protect them together to help life go right. Give me a call at 615-890-0850 and let me help you save by combining your home and auto.
Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home has served Murfreesboro families with compassion and care since 1880. As a family-owned funeral home, we're committed to honoring every life with dignity through traditional services, cremation options, and pre-planning that gives you peace of mind. For over 140 years, we've been here when it matters most. Visit JenningsandAyers.com. Jennings & Ayers Funeral Home, honoring life and comforting families since 1880.
This is Chip Walters, and I'm honored to be your 2024 MTAR Realtor of the Year. I'm with Exit Realty Bob Lamb & Associates, and like many of you, I've seen the real estate market shift and change. People often ask, Chip, what's really going on? Well, that's a great question, and I believe in answering with solid, factual data. So let's cut through some of the noise. I invite you to reach out. Let's have a conversation about your real estate goals and the current market trends in your neighborhood. You can find all my contact information at choosechip.net.
This is Peter Demas, and our family is inviting your family to come eat with us at Demas's restaurant. We're trying to give them a place where they can eat with their family that's not fast food. We want to create an atmosphere where we can sit down and just have a good old-fashioned family dinner. But unfortunately now, most people can't do it at home. So, two people are working, the kids' activities, and so what we're doing is we provide that and we make it affordable. Come eat with us at Demas's restaurant on Northwest Broad Street.
Got old tires, electronics, mattresses, or scrap metal you've been meaning to drop off? Well, here's your chance. Tennessee Environmental Council and Nissan North America invite you to the Smyrna Recycling Roundup, Saturday, November 15th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at 983 Nissan Drive, Gate 5. It's your one-stop drop-off for hard-to-recycle items. And yes, it's free for everyone. Volunteer opportunities available. Donations are suggested. Nissan Smyrna Recycles, Saturday, November 15th, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Whether you need general vehicle upkeep and maintenance or a complete vehicle overhaul, Hall's Auto Care is here for you. We're locally owned and operated by Greg Hall and have been in business since 2014. You'll get excellent service and trustworthy advice with Hall's Auto Care. A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. We're ready to help get you safely on the road. Hall's Auto Care, 907 Ridgely Road, just off Broad Street behind Chili's. Online at hallsautocare.net. Hall's Auto Care.
Good afternoon. It's still crowded at times. 65 northbound. Here trying to get past Vietnam Vets. They're at Rivergate Parkway and just working your way up towards Goodlettsville. And they're still dodging a few snow showers out here in certain parts of Middle Tennessee. It could affect your drive down 24 certain areas there through Murfreesboro, Rutherford County, all the way into Coffee County. We have seen those snow showers out here. Hey, when you need dependable towing for your car or truck, call STR Towing and Recovery. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
My guest today is Eddie Taylor, who is heading up the Rutherford County Baseball Association. The annual banquet is tonight. It's going to be a full-fledged thing. And Eddie, what as kind of the ringleader of all this, what worries you most about getting everything done and done right?
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, what worries and bothers me the most is I hope that Kevin Mayfield doesn't get sick.
Now, you're talking about one of my former players. You know that.
Yeah, I do. He is the glue that holds us together, Dick. He's our treasurer and secretary, and we go as however Kevin runs it. You know, with on the backside of it, that's how things will go tonight. He does all of our our videos. He does all of our PowerPoints. He does our agendas. He does so much work. I mean, I cannot brag about him enough. He is such a vital part of our organization, and I've always said, you know, I'm only as good as the people around me, and the organization is only as good as the board that we have.
Well, Kevin was one of my favorite players. I had him when he was 11 and 12 years old in Little League, and he could hit, left-handed hitter. He could hit like a terror. He could throw, and that's about all I'm going to say about him.
Well, he got it honestly because his daddy was the same way.
But yeah, if he hit one to the fence, he would be lucky to get to first base. That's all I'm going to say about Kevin. How does one become a member of this elite organization?
Well, it's not really as much of being a member.
They're not any week monthly dues.
No. It's not. What we do is the board will accept nominations for the Hall of Fame from coaches, from players, from outside players, from you and I. Anybody can nominate a player, and then we'll look at their look at their resume, and then we present it to the board. But the board recognizes each year who will go onto our ballot. And the board we send out a ballot to everybody that's on our email address, anybody that's on our mailing address. If you've ever attended a banquet and you've given us your information, you're in our database, and you will receive an invitation and a ballot every year to the banquet.
So you can come or not come, but you can vote or
Absolutely.
not vote. It's just simply voluntary.
Absolutely. It's a unique way of doing things. Like with Major League Baseball and a lot of other Hall of Fames, they have a board or a committee that votes and does that stuff. But this is kind of one of the old things that the old guys did when they first started this organization, and we want to keep a lot of the roots that we had back then. We want to continue those roots that we have now. So allowing anybody that has attended our banquets and anybody that's a member of the Hall of Fame are allowed to vote. And we have 7 people that's on the ballot each year. you're able to remain on the ballot up to 3 years. And if you don't get elected after the third year, you can come off for a year, and then you can come back on the ballot again. So we induct 3 each year now, which is a smaller number than what we used to do. But the reason we did that is because we're doing more awards now.
Are you free to say who the inductees are going to be tonight?
Oh, absolutely. It's a few names that people might recognize. First is Coach Mike Bartlett, who has coached at numerous schools in this county and is an extremely popular coach amongst his players and former players and stuff. And he's been receiving a lot of chatter on X and on Facebook when it was announced that he was going in. A gentleman named David Price. I think I've heard of him. A little familiar with David. Unfortunately, David's not going to be able to be there tonight. He's now residing in Arizona, and he is in the process of moving after having built a new house, and it's just the timing wasn't right tonight. But Mudcat Brewer is going to be accepting for him tonight, and that'll be a nice presentation. And then the other gentleman is Bryce Brents, who was a standout player at MTSU and is now an assistant coach for the MTSU softball team.
Okay, you got 3 excellent people coming in, and 2 of them will be there tonight,
yes.
I assume,
yes.
and we'll have some comments to make. As well as Mudcat. So
that's correct.
So we're looking forward to that. Do you have a list of the early members of the Hall of Fame?
I do have that, and it's the list here. I can tell you what I'd like to do is just kind of give you the very first year, which was what we have here is back to 76. The first inductees in that year was Jack Baxter, John Jolly. I'm sure a lot of people will know that name as well.
John Jolly was Jack's father.
That's correct.
And he was a former minor league baseball umpire in the old Kitty League.
Correct.
But he ran the recreation services out at the VA hospital out on Lebanon Road.
That is correct. Jack Matthews and Jimmy Vaughn. Those were the first class of the Hall of Fame. And some of those names are, like I said, I can remember my dad talking about a lot of these guys.
Now, Jimmy, is that Butch Vaughn's father?
I think that is correct.
Yeah.
Jimmy
was a former coach in our Little League program.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Looking at some of the names down through here that I recognized, Herman Wormy Jones.
Wormy Jones was my first coach when I went from Little League to Babe Ruth League. He was a 14-year-old coach.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed playing for him.
Here's another one I bet you remember is William Hoyt. They called him Red Owen. And if that is, a lot of people might remember Robert Owen, a long-time umpire and stuff around here. That was his father.
Okay.
Raleigh Holden.
Yep. Holden's Hardware.
That is correct. Let's see. There's Arlie Alsop is a name that I remember. Shorty Miller is another name I remember hearing a lot about. But, we have, and these are listed on our website as well. And they are listed chronologically by the year of the inductions.
Right.
So it's easy to go through and look at each class of every year of inductions. And then last year's inductees, we had another gentleman people might recognize, Sonny Gray.
Yep.
Sonny Gray went in. Sonny was not able to attend last year because he had another engagement that contradicted or that coincided with us. But he made a nice video presentation that we was able to play at the banquet. And Matt Scott, pitcher out of Laverne. Drew Huff was a standout player at Riverdale and at MTSU for 4 years. And then, and I didn't mention this, but one thing that the board does each year, we recognize people that should have been in the Hall of Fame that had not been elected over the years and stuff. And so we call it our board appointed inductees for the Hall of Fame. And last year we inducted a father and a son, Don Newberry and Burge Newberry. And Burge passed away a few years ago, but I worked with Don a lot of years when Don ran our Babe Ruth program here. And when I was the UIC for Little League and Babe Ruth and for Rutherford and Cannon County, and such a tremendous guy. And but this year we have a board-appointed inductee. Was a good friend of mine, played ball with him several years, Mike Belafonte, who was a standout player at Riverdale High School. And a lot of people will remember him playing softball with a lot of the old Mark Pirtle teams and stuff. But he's going to be going in as our board-appointed Hall of Fame inductee this year.
Okay, well, that's some great background information, and some of those names sound so familiar, and some of them don't, because they go back, I'm sure, Eddie, back into the 20s and 30s and 40s.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's no way of knowing the age of some of these guys when they was inducted. But no, I'd say that's absolutely right. I'd say easily playing in the 20s and 30s.
Yeah. So anyone can be nominated by any person that's on the mailing list.
That's correct. The only thing that we have we do have some requirements.
And then you have to filter it out, I guess.
Yeah, we some of the requirements that we would like to see is that you did play ball or coached here in Rutherford County.
Right.
And you don't necessarily have to still reside here in Rutherford County. We kind of like that so that you can stay involved with us, but that's not something that you don't have to have. But, and that's not just players and coaches, Dick. It could go to, scorekeepers. It could go to sponsors. There's so many different areas that you could go into the Hall of Fame with, which we did have one induction a couple of years ago. John McGill went in as a contributor because he's done baseball card shows forever. And that's his contribution to the baseball in Rutherford County is that every 2 weeks, that at the Ramada Inn, he's got a baseball card show going on.
That's right. See him from time to time. So, one thing that you guys do that I appreciate, when the Hall of Fame nominations come out, and I guess Kevin does this, he'll send out a little thumbnail on every candidate.
Yes.
With whatever information is available. Now, I know it's tough getting stuff from like independent leagues, Little League, Babe Ruth, collegiate stuff is readily available, but I know that takes a lot of work on his part.
That was one of the things that when I got on the board, that was one of the things I brought up. I said, to bridge the gap between the generation that was running and that was going into the Hall of Fame and the generation that we needed to tap into that we didn't have any access to or any information on. And I told the board, one of our board meetings, I said, here's what I think we need to do. I think we need to start having player biographies, because when I mention players here in the room about nominating these guys, you guys have no idea who they are.
You get some blank looks.
Exactly. So let's put out their bios. What did they do in high school? All this information is acceptable now. Is accessible now to where you can get, records. You can get batting averages, ERAs. You can get all this stuff that these guys did when they was in high school that we didn't have access to before. And then this introduces you guys to another generation of ball players, and it has worked really good. The way that works, real quick, Dick, the way that works is each board member, when we nominate and get our ballots together, each board member will have one of those players that they have some kind of connection to, that they'll compile all that information. And then, yes, Kevin puts all that stuff into our database, and then he controls all this stuff and has all this stuff ready to go when we get ready to mail this out.
How does one get on your website? It's very simple. It's and I'm going to explain this to you. It's RUCO, RUCO. Okay. RUCObaseball.org. That's our website. Yeah. The RUCO is Rutherford County. And we kind of coordinated that with our email addresses and our website addresses so that they would look uniformed. And if you needed to ever email us for any reason, it's RUCOoldtimers@RUCObaseball.com. Okay, so if you can get on there and find out a little bit more about what we've been talking about today. We're going to take another break. I think our Blue Raider Sports Report with Chip Walters is coming up shortly, so we invite you to stay tuned for that. And we'll be back with more All Sports Talk after this.
If you're not waking up to the Wake Up Crew, here's what you've been missing.
You think we're way out there? Yes.
Don't miss the Wake Up Crew with John, Ryan, and Dalton. Weekday mornings from 6 until Swap and Shop.
The Good Neighbor Network salutes educators making a difference. The Doug Young Educator of the Month from City Tile and Floor Covering is Cameron Hamilton at the Learning Zone.
My decision to become an educator stems from my background in the Boys and Girls Club. I grew up going to the Boys and Girls Club, and then when I was of age, I started volunteering, and then I started working there when I became of age from that point. But I've just always been involved with youth development.
Cameron, tell us what you like most about working with the kids.
Every day is something new. There's always a new thing to learn from them, as there's something new for them to learn from me. Having that experience with them is just a reward in itself.
And what would you like to do in the future?
I'd like to possibly step into a director role, be in charge of the different things that go on, and ensure that at least I know that my building is doing the best that they can for the children.
Cameron Hamilton at the Learning Zone is the Doug Young Educator of the Month, sponsored by City Tile and Floor Covering on Spring Street. Know an outstanding teacher? Nominate them at our website.
The residents at Stones River Manor love the activities and the environment.
They have everything. They have exercise class. The activity center has the Bible study that I like very much. Everyone is so friendly. They really want to make you happy here.
Stones River Manor, serving the community since 1977.
And you have the little thing around your neck that you can press a button if you need help right away. I feel very safe here.
Stones River Manor in Murfreesboro, near the intersection of Haynes Drive and Memorial Boulevard.
We do it your way at Sir Pizza.
Murfreesboro's favorite pizza is now hiring at all 3 locations. That's right. Join the Sir Pizza team. Just stop on in and ask for a manager.
Next on All Sports Talk, it's the Blue Raider Insider Report with Chip Walters of Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Don't forget, coming up tonight at 6 o'clock, it is Derek Mason Live. We'll spend an hour with the head coach of the Blue Raiders. His team showed flashes of offense throughout the afternoon on Saturday, but FIU capitalized on some key swings of momentum to hand Middle Tennessee a 56-30 loss Saturday at Floyd Stadium. The Blue Raiders have now lost 6 in a row to go to 1-8. They are 0-5 in Conference USA. The Blue Raiders struck first with a 48-yard touchdown pass from Nick Vattiato to Ja'Kale Middlebrook that capped a 90-yard drive. Despite FIU's 3-touchdown surge in the second quarter, the Blue Raiders responded with an 8-play, 65-yard scoring march and a 48-yard Jacob Hathaway field goal to pull within 4 before halftime. Vattiato threw for 242 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cam Lacey delivered a career day with 108 receiving yards. Middlebrook added 64 receiving yards and a touchdown as part of his 95 all-purpose yards on the day. And backup quarterback Roman Gagliano provided a late highlight with a 60-yard touchdown strike to Lacey in the closing minutes. The Blue Raiders now turn their attention to the 100-mile rivalry. They will take on Western Kentucky this Saturday up in Bowling Green. The Hilltoppers have won 9 of the last 10 in this series. And it will be a 2:30 kickoff, and it looks like right now, even though we're experiencing cold weather today, right now the forecast saying 74 degrees on Saturday in Bowling Green. All right, basketball. Middle Tennessee's men cruised to a 109-56 win over the Gorlocks of Webster at Murphy Center. Prior to the first stoppage, Middle came out of the gate strong, shooting 7 of 8 to take a 16-6 lead. The Blue Raiders led 54-23 at halftime, shooting 49% as a team. The Blue Raiders did a good job sharing the basketball as well. 14 first-half assists, led by Sean Smith with 3. Chris Loof led Middle with 10 points at the half while grabbing 5 boards. Smith had 8 points to go with his 3 assists. The Blue Raider bench outscored Webster 25-4, and the Blue Raiders had 32 points in the paint at halftime. Middle kept the pedal to the metal in the second half, getting a total of 5 players into double figures. Both Javin Carter and Chris Loof led Middle with 14 points. Sean Smith and Alec Oglesby each had 13, and Trey Green finished with 12 points, all on 3-pointers. Coming up next, the Blue Raiders get their first real test of the year as they travel to Evansville to take on the Purple Aces. That'll be Wednesday night at 7 o'clock. I'll have the broadcast from the Ford Center in Evansville beginning at 6:30 Central Time on Wednesday. Well, you could say it was a pretty good first week in a Blue Raider uniform for Blair Bogus of the Lady Raiders. She's been named the Conference USA Freshman of the Week. The Waynesboro native became an immediate difference maker for a roster featuring 8 newcomers. The freshman opened her collegiate career with back-to-back double-doubles, making her the only freshman in the country to start 2 games and record double-doubles in each to begin the 25-26 season. She's the first MTSU freshman to achieve that feat since Ebony Rowe in 2010-11, and if you remember right, Ebony was pretty good. And the Lady Raiders will travel to Cookeville tomorrow night to take on the Tennessee Tech Eaglettes at 6 o'clock Central Time. Joe Fisher will have that broadcast beginning at 5:30, and you can hear it all right here on the Big G, WGNS.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network.
Career paths for those who do not wish to specialize in artificial intelligence. The most sustainable options rely on skills and human qualities that AI cannot replicate. Jobs requiring high emotional intelligence and empathy, or physical dexterity and critical thinking, all remain secure from AI automation. Many healthcare roles are prime examples. The demand for healthcare and social workers is projected to add more jobs than any sector through 2032. It goes way beyond nurses and nurses' aides. Openings for mental health counselors and social workers and physical and occupational therapists is projected to be over 100,000 per year for the next 7 years. Speech-language pathologists should see 18% job growth, as their roles require subtle communication skills.
It's all sports talk from the Good Neighbor Network, FM 1019, 100.5, AM 1450, WGNSradio.com, and Big G TV.
Welcome back to All Sports Talk. Dick Palmer and I am pleased to have Eddie Taylor as my first guest hosting this program. I've been on this program a lot as a guest or with Tim Tackett sometimes, but this is the first time I've been in the driver's seat. So I appreciate all of you listening and giving me your support. And I should be back here for the next few Mondays anyway, as we're kind of changing a little bit, the format a little bit.
Well, the good thing is, Dick, you're keeping us between the white lines, so we're
right.
good.
Long as we can do that. Okay, let's get into a little bit more specifics now. Give us, again, the location, and because we're getting close to the time to get this thing cranked up tonight, the location, the time, and so forth. Do that right now.
It's 315 John R. Rice Boulevard. Okay. It's the Lane Agri Park.
Put that in your GPS.
Yes, and we are located in the back of the property, not the main building as you come in, but there's a larger building in the back where a lot of people, if you visit the farmers market on Tuesdays and Fridays during the growing season, that's the building that we're in. And when you get there, we're going to be in the venue to the left. If you go to the right, you got to be careful because 4-H has got archery classes in there, and you don't want to step in front of an arrow. So, the doors open at 5 o'clock. The social hour is until 5:45. That's where all the lies and all the tales and all that stuff are being told. And then we'll start our program at 5:45, preliminary stuff, and then we try to eat at 6.
Okay, we've mentioned the inductees tonight. We have not talked that much about the Jack Jolly Award, and this was added 2 years ago. Mm-hmm. First presented to Mr. Jolly.
Yes.
And then last year, I was lucky enough to be the recipient of that. But tonight got a special inductee.
Nothing lucky about it. This is a lifetime. This is like a lifetime achievement award. And when you spend so much time volunteering, and that's what most of this is, as a coach, as a sponsor, whatever, when you spend so much time doing this and you put so much into the game of baseball, especially in the Rutherford County, that's what this award is built around. It's kind of become our highlight award because it honors someone very special. And then working with you last year, getting some information compiled for our presentation, the number of years that you spent coaching Little League baseball was incredible. It was what 50? I forgot how many years 50, it was. 59 years.
50 something. I don't. Yeah,
remember. It was. I mean, it was. You started like when you were 17 or 18.
Yeah, my wife could probably tell you exactly.
Yeah. But Coon Victory, and Coon was a former chairman of the board with our organization for 10 years, but he is still a member of my senior advisory board. But Coon has done so much for Rutherford County, for the town of Smyrna, for MTSU. He's a member of the MTSU Hall of Fame. He's got numerous awards that are named after him. One of the most prestigious awards I think they do is the Volunteer Award in Smyrna that's named after him. And that he was the first recipient of that. But, when you look back at this award, and we talk about this every year in our board meeting now, and, it's not hard to pinpoint certain people. This has been really easy the last 3 years. The first 3 years has been really easy. As we move forward, there's going to be more and more people to select from as well. So I really look forward to where this award is going.
Coon's real name is his
Kenneth.
Given name is Kenneth Victory,
Yes.
Ken Victory, and his brothers have also unique nicknames.
I always said his parents must have loved animals.
Because when I was 15, 16 years old, and my eligibility to play youth baseball had run out, and I was not good enough to play Legion ball, so I thought, well, how can I stay involved? And there was a teacher I had at Critchlow, the old Critchlow school, named Gilbert Sharon, and he coached a team in the Little League. Little League was still fairly new at that time. I played in the first Little League, organized Little League in Murfreesboro in 1950. But Mr. Sharon, I knew, coached the team, and I asked him, could I come out and try to help out if you need anything?
Yeah.
And he said, certainly. So I was on that staff when Ken Victory was our 12-year-old pitcher.
Oh, my goodness.
And we were good. Mr. Sharon was an excellent coach, and just about everything, that I learned about coaching, I learned from him, because he was such a great communicator.
Yeah.
So that was my introduction to Ken Victory. And then after I got my own team later on, a few years later, I got his little brother, Rabbit. So Rabbit Victory played for me for 2 years, and I can still see their dad, Lee Victory, driving up to the old Little League Park on Highland Avenue in that old beat-up pickup truck that he drove, and he would unload Rabbit and some of the neighborhood kids who came along to watch and be there for the ball game. So, I've kind of been involved with the Victory family for a long time, and it is a great honor for me to be able to introduce him tonight.
Well, we were glad that you would be available and could could work your schedule to be able to make that happen. Of course, you're always one of the faces we see at the banquet every year anyway. But it's I think that's appropriate that last year's winner is going to present this year's winner.
Yeah, you might just make that a tradition.
It's something we're thinking about. Yeah.
So anyway, all that's happening tonight. Now, you're also going to have team awards, and you're holding the information on that for the banquet itself.
No, the team awards are announced. Okay. It's the coaches awards. The coaches award. We're not. We're recognizing each year. We started this back when Mike Jones was still the chairman. We started doing this to recognize any state champion teams in Rutherford County. And this year we recognize, of course, Eagleville High School. This will be the 4th year in a row that they've been there. So, that's
they're getting used to it.
They're getting used to it. And we're kind of glad to have them each year. And it's becoming, this is the 3rd year that we've had a Little League, at least one Little League team that has won a state championship, and that's the 13U Little League team won the state this year. Last year we had 2 Little League teams.
Okay, now we're just about out of time. Let's talk about your guest speaker tonight.
Dan Shurka, head coach, Murray State. Fresh off of a College World Series appearance, first time obviously in school history. It kind of got the hearts of the country when Murray State got there. Unfortunately, he didn't have the result that they wanted once they got there, but only 8 make it. So the ones that are there it's an accomplishment.
Looking forward to hearing from him. By the way, MTSU will be playing Murray twice this year on their schedule, home and home, I think. So we'll be looking forward to hearing from Coach Shurka. And I'm sure the MTSU coaches will all be out there tonight. They usually come every year. And we're just about out of time. We could talk another half an hour or so about our old-time roots in Rutherford County baseball, but appreciate you coming by, and we'll see you tonight.
Dick, I appreciate the opportunity to be here and look forward, and I'll see you in a few minutes.
All right. Well, that's our show for today. Eddie Taylor of the Rutherford County Baseball Organization has been our guest. Remember the banquet tonight, and hope to have you back here next Monday. Coming up next on WGNS is Derek Mason Live talking Blue Raider football. This is Dick Palmer. See you next Monday.
McCabe Vision Center.
Everything in my left eye just looked like it was cloudy, foggy, had a skim over it. Looked like I was looking through real dirty glass, and I was having trouble driving. The lights glared, and it's absolutely gone.
He's the eye doctor you hear on the radio.
The eye surgery was a piece of cake. It was so simple, it was so easy, never felt a thing. Once it was over, able to walk right out.
McCabe Vision Center on Heritage Park Drive.
If you want to get some barbecue, I'll tell you how to do it. Head for the Slick Pig and you're into it. Just walk through the door at 1920 East Main and your nose will send a message right to your brain. Say, smells good, and barbecue. Slick Pig. They got ribs and beans. Got spicy wings. Slick Pig.
A Murfreesboro tradition. 1920 East Main.
You know, everyone has a more. First, it's a pony. Then to be on the cheer squad. Your more grows up just like you do. But your more can still carry you away or make you cheer. At First Bank, banking local gets you more. More of our time, more access to local bankers, more flexibility, and more product choices. Because getting more empowered and confident helps you pursue your more. That never grows old. First Bank. Bank local, get more. Member FDIC.
We're visiting with a resident at Stones River Manor who has her own apartment in independent living. I see you have a whole collection of antique churns. What's the story behind that one?
Bought it at an auction. I told my husband, I said, don't go too high on it, maybe $35. And there was this guy, he kept on bidding. And my husband said, I'm going to get it. I don't care what it costs. And he kept on, he gave $85 for it. That was a lot of money for us back then.
Learn more online at stonesrivermanor.com.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles,
Here's Dan Byer.
Brian Daboll was fired today as the head coach of the New York Giants, becoming the second head coach in the NFL this season to lose his job. Offensive coordinator Mike Kafka will take over on an interim basis. General manager Joe Shane is staying with the organization, and ownership says that Shane will be leading the search for the team's next head coach. Commanders defensive lineman Daron Payne suspended 1 game by the NFL for punching Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown yesterday. Payne is going to appeal the suspension. He was ejected from the contest following the punch. Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow had his 21-day window open to return from IR and his toe injury. He was limited in practice today. He will not play in Week 11 against the Steelers. Broncos linebacker Alex Singleton revealed he was diagnosed with testicular cancer. Prognosis for a full bill of health is good, as Singleton underwent surgery on Friday, a day after playing a game against the Raiders. Lakers guard Austin Reeves probable to play tonight against Charlotte.
This is Wade Hayes from Toots Restaurants. One of the things that put us on the map here in Rutherford County was our daily specials. Now you can go to our website, toots.com, and click on the Daily Specials tab to see what those are.
Hey, this is Jack Hayes. Come over to Toots Restaurants and play our cool arcade games, and while you're at it, come check out our menus.
Thank you, Rutherford County.
Thank you for dining with us since 1985.
Thank you for dining with us for 40 years.
Sign-ups are going on right now for First Shot's Winter Basketball League in Rutherford County. Coach Andy Herzer guides kids to sharpen basketball skills and build teamwork through exciting clinics and games. Since 2003, First Shot has empowered youth to grow in mind, spirit, and body. Don't miss out. Join the fun and develop lifelong skills. Visit FirstShotTN.org today and register for the Winter Basketball League. That's FirstShotTN.org.
Don't let concerns about today's events derail your long-term financial strategy. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin, and I'm here to help. We can work together to understand the impact of these events and make sure that your goals are top of mind. While you can't control market volatility, we'll help focus on what you can control. We can connect in several virtual ways. Start by giving me a call at 615-907-7056. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
This has been All Sports Talk on WGNS and Big G TV, where we hit every level of the game, from the preps to MTSU, across Tennessee and the nation. Thanks for tuning in to All Sports Talk from the Good Neighbor Network.
Portions of our programming have been pre-recorded. The Good Neighbor Network, WGNS, Murfreesboro, Smyrna, flagship station for MTSU sports. Courthouse clock time, 6 o'clock.
3-3.
Playing the greatest
We're
hits
talking
of all
Blue
time.
Raider football, live from the Boulevard Bar and Grill. It's Derek Mason Live. 1 hour of football conversation featuring the head coach of the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders. Be part of the show by dropping us your questions or comments to blueraidernet@gmail.com. Tonight's show is presented by Ascend Federal Credit Union, the exclusive credit union of Blue Raider Athletics. Bud Light, it's for the fans. Now, with Coach Derek Mason, here's the voice of the Blue Raiders, Chip Walters.
Welcome into the Boulevard here on just across from the MTSU campus tonight, and Derek Mason Live. We're here for an hour of football conversation with the head coach of the Blue Raiders. And Coach Mason, Saturday was a wonderful day for reunions. 70s in the air. You guys get to campus this morning for practice. When you go at 6 a.m., walk outside, and it's below freezing. What was your first reaction to that?
Well, waking up to the flurries was something that I don't know if I was expecting. I knew it was going to be cold. I didn't know if we'd have I didn't know we'd have flurries, but yeah, the seasons have changed.
They have,
yeah.
And so, who's the man that scheduled practice at 6 a.m.? Who was in charge of that?
Jamie Blatnick.
Oh, Jamie Blatnick. Okay,
yeah, Jamie Blatnick.
Jamie Blatnick. He will be our guest tonight. The Blue Raiders strength and conditioning coach. Middle Tennessee coming off the game with FIU that was played here on Saturday. As we mentioned, it was a beautiful day in Murfreesboro. The salute to veterans went on. The 1965 and 85 teams were back, and an FIU team that has had some really good moments this year, and I think for one of the things that it ended up in the first time in their history where they had won on the road at Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee, and the game it was a tale of two halves, right, where the Blue Raiders were right in this thing until late in the third quarter, and then you talked about it this morning. There was about a 6-minute period of time where things kind of got away, and they ended up getting away.
Right. Looking at that ball game, it had a similar feel to me as Wisconsin did. Man, you're playing football. I mean, you feel like it's going back and forth, and then there's a lapse in focus and fundamentals. And you when you have a stretch like that, it can get away from you. It can get away from you fast, right? And I told our guys, afterwards, when you're in it, then you got to find a way to get to the other side of it quickly. And we didn't. And it just felt like an error here, an error there, a small mistake here leads to a big mistake here, and all those mistakes were fundamental mistakes. Whether we talk about holding a gap, whether we talk about holding on to the football, whether we talk about